Let's
In
get close to the edge.
2 and 1. We are live. All right,
Well,
everybody
well,
says.
folks, hey, welcome December 10th, a snowy day, at least in the Ottawa Valley, 20 centimeters of snow. So if you're not out there driving around, you're probably staying a lot safer if you have that choice. I'm going to share a screen and give you kind of an update what's happening in the Phoenix Business Exchange. And by the way, you're inside the Bell's Corners, not Bell's Corners. Oh my gosh, I did the wrong thing there. Sam's going to give me the hairy eyeball now. We are in the East End edition of the chapter of Phoenix Business Exchange. And you think I hadn't talked all day long, and we've been chatting for a while. All right, so I'm going to share a screen, and it's pbex.ca. So the letters pbex.ca will bring you to the site. Member of the week, Shane Bayless. Now, Shane is good at getting your concussions taken care of, helping you on that path on recovery, not giving you one, but recovery. That's important. Or if you have joint issues with your arms, your legs, your neck, etc., they do physio, they do chiropractic work. So reach out to Shane. His little red e-card button is right here. Click that, and it's all the contact details. And keep in mind, all of us that are Phoenix members have an e-card. And what's the story behind that? It makes it easier for people to reach us. If the preferred method is by email, by phone, location, and even the videos are on there. So it's a host of information. And that's a benefit of being a member of Phoenix. It's part of your package. Monday morning is Bell's Corners. And then today is Wednesday. Here we are, East End. And then Thursday, South End group meets. Just click this. The Zoom will take you into the show. And you know what? It's a good way to market your business and get connected. By the way, this is the last Wednesday meeting for the year. So we're going to go on hiatus till January. All right. So just FYI. So if you show up next week, it's going to be a little bit lonely. January 6th, at 7 p.m. is the After Hours group, and that's a Tuesday. And Penny Lee's hosting that, and it's about staying accountable to your goals. Yeah, right after January 1st. What goals could you have set? And that's a place to mention it. She'll keep you on target. She won't whip you into shape, but she'll remind you to stay in shape. East Trade Winds. We are meeting next week still, and then we go on hiatus until the first week of January. So East Trade Winds is active next week. Facebook Live meditation class with Tony, December 12th, 1:30 p.m. So that's this week. And Tony goes right up to the end of the year. So get in there and just, get Zen with life. A sunbathing event, December 17th. Oh, we're getting close to that, about 7 days away. It's a Zoom event at 7 p.m. And Tony just bathes you in sound and just gets you all kind of chill with life. And Penny Lee's got the Dance and Movement is Medicine with Nia classes, both in person and online. Click here, you'll find out what the options are. Meanwhile, on this week, December 12th at 6:30 p.m., Penny's got a potluck that's happening. So people are gathering, you show up with food. It's not a Zoom event. You can try Zooming it, but it's not going to work. And then the QR directory for all members. So if you hear somebody talking today and you go, geez, I got to know more about my taxes or social media or maybe my mortgage, click here. And this is a good place to find that member and get the information back. Now, I was saying that the e-cards are a part and the benefit of being a member here at Phoenix. Well, 4,875 times people have tapped into that card to connect. And so that just tells you the power of that marketing leverage that it has to help get you exposure. So business done between members. $4.9 million worth of business has transpired since January 2016. Year-to-date numbers, $186,370. By the way, if you haven't sent in your stats, like if you bought services from somebody in the group, Phoenix to Phoenix member, please send those stats in to Tony. I'm going to stop bouncing around here, and we're going to go over to Tony for a educational minute. Tony, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Bernie. When I look at the stats itself, it's amazing what we've accomplished in almost 10 years. So we started Phoenix, it'll be 10 years in 2026 as soon as we come in. And we're only about 25,000 away from the 5 million that we were targeting. And you just realize that it's not only what we are doing for this particular meeting, but the first meeting that when we come back will also count for 2025, because that's what's accumulated over between now and the end of the year. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to hit that mark. The the whole premise of it is that as a group, our job is to give you as many connections as possible. What a lot of people will think is that, well, our job isn't to be able to give you business, well, because that's your job. You know your business more than anyone. So as far as closing a sale, you've got this. So closing a sale is not the big deal. It's just getting the people in front of you, getting the people that we introduce you, or the visitors that come in, or as the members are looking for different things, come in to be able to connect to you, to be able to do that business. But I had one person say about a week ago, saying, I really feel kind of guilty in some ways because I'm in the kind of profession that I don't see a lot of people or whatever. So it's just that and I don't do that much business with some of the members. I says, how many people do you know? And when he went through his list, it was about almost 300 people. And I says, you got to realize that it's not you that we are expecting that you're going to, be able to, provide for these, but it's the people that you know. And it's another reminder that the people that I know, you would never meet probably. And so when I introduce you to some of those people, that costs me nothing. It really does. It doesn't cost me anything. So, but if I, want to do get my tires fixed at Sam's personally, yes, then there's going to be that cost. But look at it in a different way. That who can I introduce to somebody in the group that will be able to impact them, or at least get a connection in front of them? And we do that in many ways. When we bring in a visitor, yeah, stats has showed, and I've followed this. Any visitor that has ever come in, and I've still yet to look at anybody that hasn't impacted in some way. Even a visitor that doesn't come in will have this sense of that they'll get connections within that week. I remember when we were at the seniors' place on Clearview. It's a place on the west end of Ottawa. It was a retirement place, and they had this huge sort of area that we could do our meetings, and we had up to 40 some odd people in that chapter. We had a visitor that come in that was a roofer, and he just wanted to check things out, so he wasn't a member. And after that meeting, when he told everybody what he did, he landed a $40,000 contract to do the roof of the place that we were in. And it always got me that even the people that come in, we are helping, even if they don't join. The idea is there's a power behind a collective group. We all want to give. We all want to be able to be in that space where we could be of value. And some will only think, well, how can I be of value if I can't, buy certain things? But how many people do you know that you can introduce to someone? If somebody said, look, if you could introduce someone to Jacqueline that will maybe not buy a home, but just introduce someone to Jacqueline and you get $500, I wonder how many referrals that she would get in that week. That doesn't cost us anything. And so, because just as Mike would say, then it becomes important. It becomes the top of our list because we're looking for different ways to pay our mortgages, support our families, support our businesses, and just having that prosperity. And because of that, that will get us the referrals that we need. And so when we look at the reasons for it, you do know a lot of people. And so when we introduce them and then let the member be able to say, well, how are we going to package this where someone can know, like, and trust us, and so on. And this is the point, is that when we look at the ways that we can help, we can do it in so many ways that doesn't cost anything, and it's just simply introductions. In 2026, our goals are to be able to expand our our network. And Bernie has been really exhaustingly working on this. We are looking at going with a group at Hive. I'm actually doing the testing of that tomorrow afternoon to see if our hardware and the stuff that we have is compatible with theirs. I'm sure it will be. It's sort of a dry run, and we're always looking at getting more connections for you. We're not doing it for ourselves. Bernie and I make nothing on this, but we do it because we have a passion to help a collective group. And the people that are with Phoenix even today, they're the ones that we want to help because they've stood beside us this whole time. And this collective energy has a frequency. It has an element that you can't duplicate just through somebody giving you a referral. It's just that this is what we do, and we're going to do this as long as we have the opportunity to do so. And so look at it that way. So when you know of somebody that is having a hard time in their business, introduce them to Phoenix. It's something that they will be able to take because we are not like other groups. And I know other groups are flourishing in some way because they have the element of fear inside of them. The fear that if they miss a meeting, they'll be thrown out. And so that will bring them in. This is not a style that I am attest to, nor is Bernie. He doesn't want to be able to rule because you have to do something. And also in that group, you have to have 4 pieces of business that you give to a person within the group. Otherwise, you get kicked out. So whether it's a haircut or whether it's talking to Jacqueline about something, you need to give 4 referrals. And if you don't, they keep track of that and they'll kick you out. We don't do that. We make it so that it's organic, is that if you want to help, and that's the point. We want people that really want to help, and they're here because they feel they have the freedom to do so. And we appreciate that. Both Bernie and I are working hard, and we can see that that is making a difference. So in this holiday season, I want you to realize that there is a group behind you that is helping you be able to run your business and help you personally as well. Okay, back to you, Bernie. Merry Christmas.
Tony, thank you so much. And so here's our LinkedIn live feed, the connection in that space. So we're going to do a round robin of, hey, what's happening? Any BAMs, referrals, and what are you doing for this Christmas? And I'm going to start off with the fickle finger of fate swinging around. And we'll start off with Jacqueline and then go to Eric because Eric went first last time this week. So Eric's looking up, going, yeah, Bertie, yeah. Now I'm not tired. Jacqueline, over to you, ma'am.
You're
Oh, and
welcome,
by
Eric.
the way, afterwards, if you can let us know what you're doing for Christmas. Sorry, Bernie, I didn't have a chance to write it.
That's all right.
So you're welcome, Eric, that I get to go first. And I did take a beautiful long deep breath. I lifted my shoulders, I took them back, I dropped them down, and I did a little bit of shoveling. Of course, I had to do my yoga before I do the shoveling because that's helpful when I lift my shoulders, take them back, drop them down. And I want to talk a little bit about money thoughts. Thank you, Tony, for engaging in that piece. When I think money thoughts and I'm talking about clients, it's about having some compassion. This is a season. Be compassionate with yourself. Have some self-understanding about what can transform when you're looking at your financial status. It's opportunities to change the past. We make mistakes. Debt happens. Overspending happens. Missed opportunities. I know when you take a look at your year, there may have been some opportunities that you thought about and did nothing about. It's an option, it's a choice. With compassion, you get to shift self-judgment. You get to shift self-judgment into self-empowerment. And so when you're thinking about money connections, stop punishing yourself for missteps and become open to learning, become open to understanding, understand that criticizing himself has got to be short-lived. For me, I coach on clarity, not correction, because most people don't need fixing, they just need space to reconnect with their inner wisdom. When you're looking for strategies for your mortgage money, you always want to contact, wait, your mortgage honey. Have a fantastic holiday. And I'm heading in. I had to take a moment. My dad is here with Bailey Brown Pottery, and he's heading off to the EY Center. And I'm making him some tea so he can take it with him. And hopefully, we'll see you there too. Have a wicked kind of moment. Ciao for now.
Jacqueline, thank you so much. And next little promo here. We're looking for somebody in the financial institution to join this network, whether it's the East End Group or any of the other two chapters, whatever's convenient. And it could be a credit union. And yeah, so Jacqueline, thank you so much. Eric, your turn to spin the dial, man.
Thank you, Bernie, for giving me 52 seconds of extra time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Santa Claus comes easy here.
First of all, I would like to, wish everybody a very happy festive season. And, I hope that 2026 brings you all of the joy and prosperity that you deserve. And if you get it, then you know what to account for it. You have to come to an accountant, and that's what we are. We have 8 offices throughout Canada. We can be reached at capros.ca. We specialize with businesses and with people who are self-employed, run a business, like someone who's a mortgage broker, or someone who's a real estate person, or someone who is a business connections person like Tony. Sooner or later you need to come to an accountant. And sometimes people who come to these sessions and drop off for whatever reason, because it's maybe too early or maybe not their thing, do not lose contact with us. Because last week I got a call from someone who was a member of Phoenix, who is coming over to us to do their 2024 year end. So that is something that you never know. You never know who you're speaking to. You never know what you're doing, positive in a meeting, when someone is there that never shows up again or leaves. They remember who we are, and we do make an impression on them. So 613-254-7310 for the continuation of this speech.
Eric, thank you so much. So other things we're looking for: someone who distributes meat supply, so food chain, or puppies too, I guess. Depends on the carnivore in the house. But we're looking for folks that can do that. Kat, I'm going to do your introduction. I'm going to do it after Tony. If you could just share with me that clip. For some reason, never mind. I've got the clip. There we go. So Kat's voice is out, and so I'm going to share a screen, and she's got a promotion that's coming up. So stand by for promotion with sound, because that's always ideal. Otherwise, it's me singing. You don't want that. All right, here we go.
Hello, everyone. As we move toward the Christmas season, I have been asked to bring a message to you on behalf of Transforming Autism. Transforming Autism has been selected to take part in the Big Give Christmas Challenge from the 2nd to the 9th of December, which means that for 1 week only, every donation
Kat,
will be doubled by match funding.
Okay. Kat, do you want me to play it, or do you want me to... Okay, I will stop the play, because I just realized, hang on, 9th of December, what am I thinking? So on behalf of Kat, she does a social media push. Sorry, Kat. It's more like, hey, look, shiny bauble, wrong bauble. So my absolute apologies on that. So Kat helps promote social media content. She's ideal. She actually tracks the dates and times better than I do. So kudos to Kat. But if you're finding that all of a sudden, if your day is that pushed, right? And you're trying to keep up with your social media content, that's why you hire a cat. And she pays attention to things like Google. That it's ever never present thing in the background. And some days it can just drive you a little bit wanky, for lack of better things. And I'm just going to push into the chat her contact details, how to get a hold of her. Let her help deliver your message. All right. And so if you're either having an overwhelm moment, she takes away the overwhelm from that edge. She can't do your taxes. That's what Eric's for. But she can do your social media content. By the way, if you are a Phoenix member and you have social media content you want to push out and connect with folks through Phoenix, through the Phoenix channels, Facebook, etc., reach out to Kat. I'm going to swing over to Mr. Tony Jennis because, he's got nothing to say at all. He'll bathe you with sound. Tony, over to you, sir.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Bernie. Tony Jennis from Higher Self. I'm the spirit guy of the group. As a medium and clairvoyant, I've even in the beginning, I've always tried to lean some of the gifts that I have so that people can work their business. Because traditionally, a business really isn't a sort of a spiritual or an energetic tool. That's usually reserved for the private one. And this is why that I chose this particular way. My nature itself is I always go where there are a few footsteps. I always like to do the cutting edge of everything. And whenever I was focused on business and they would have challenges in their business, well, when insight is brought into business, i.e., whether it's intuition or whether it's insight in some way, you get a direct benefit. You can see it right away. Where in personal, it's sort of a slower process because we don't have the same measuring tools as we have when in business. In business, we equate it to sales or more clients, or you just get more opportunities. That comes right away. But in personal, what ends up happening is you become more intuitive. You start hearing more things just in your quiet times. But that could just be chalked up to, oh, well, it's just one of those things. We always have voices in our heads. And so our measuring tool is way different in the private sector. But we notice it right away in business. Last night I had a client that called, and they were just about to invest quite a large sum of money into a project. And they were said, Tony, let me explain to you what this deal is. I says, you don't need to. I'm getting a no. Absolutely no. And I don't know why. All I'm getting is they're not being authentic. There's something they're hiding. I don't know what it is, but all I'm seeing, without being gross, all I'm seeing is diarrhea. And the guy goes, really? Because it looks really good. Like the payout is good, and I've checked them out. They seem to be legit. And this, I said, well, they may be legit, but there's something they're holding back. And in business, I don't deal with businesses that are holding things back. And Eric, and I think he can attest to that. If somebody is holding back something with Eric, Eric it's a major turnoff for a person like Eric. And it's the same for me. It's like if somebody if the deal is that good, why hold anything back? You talk about it. Even if it is something that they just want to generate certain incomes, but you get the frequency or the energy in business right away. And so in like literally 5 seconds, I said a no. And then for the next 2 minutes or 3 minutes, he's trying to sell me on the deal. I says, no, this is not about selling it. You asked if this deal is something for you, and I'm getting a no. So let's move on. And so it says how to meet this person, and we went through all that stuff. But in business, this is the type of measuring that is very critical because we could measure it right away. So this month, I have a bracelet, and this is called Azurite. The crystal of Azurite is based on intuition. So if you're going into a board meeting, or if you're going into some meeting, and you want to be able to get something as you're going through it, by wearing Azurite around your wrist, in this case, this is a bracelet, wearing it around your wrist on the left side, you're going to be able to pick up certain, it's hard to say, but I mean, if you're wearing it for the first time, you won't notice it right away. You might need a couple, 1 or 2 sessions with me, just so we can open up some of the portals that are there anyway. They're just closed up. It's just like anything else. Things need to get activated for things to happen. But when you start doing that, and then you start realizing that the natural order of what you are made up of will start coming out, and crystals will do it. Azurite is one of them. So those are one of the things for intuition, and it works with personal insight. And you just start getting gut feelings more. And he's saying, if it's something that's good or something that's not so good, if you you want to go as you're going. Okay. So for Christmas, that's a good one if you know somebody that is wanting to develop their intuition and their inside part. Because you have to realize one thing, that limitation is the Earth's artificial part of it. It's an illusion. We don't have limitations, but we've been taught limitations from centuries and centuries ago. Because the last thing they wanted was to have a population that is starting to feel something and starting to become intuitive. It's better if they're all in the dark, and then it's easier to control that population. So in the natural order of things, it's just dormant. It just needs to get woken up. And that's what we do. So if you know somebody who can come in for a tuning session or to come to my sound bath next week, love to have you. Okay? Tony Jennis from Higher Self. We are here to raise your spirits. Okay? Little bit of business. Still doing business with Josh. There's stuff happening with my computer that hopefully I'll be able to connect to him today to get it fixed. Eric Senego is constant, ongoing, working through our companies to get those numbers in. And we had to get together the Christmas party on Saturday. Sam was there, Jacqueline, wonderful, wonderful people to be able to just connect to at the end of the year. So that was great. Now Bernie was there, and thank you, Bernie. I just want to, for this group, and you've worked tirelessly with Phoenix, and we are so honored to have you as part of this group, and that you work so hard over and above, into the wee hours of the morning. Sometimes you're still doing stuff, and so I just wanted to say thank you, and your efforts are acknowledged. Okay, and what I'm doing for Christmas is we're going to meet at my son's place at Christmas Day in the afternoon. We're going to have our own little Christmas. Now that Mom is with us, she's now be able to experience all of the joys of the family life and the chaos. If it's not chaos, you won't remember it. Yeah. So whatever Eric and other people are going through, and there's so much, we got to realize one thing, that when you are at a point where there's kids around and there's all this chaotic thing going on, nothing is in order. There will be a time where you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. In the future, you'll look back and you say, I know it was crazy, but I miss it. It's just that point of thing. Otherwise, it'll just be yourself. And so it all has that same beautiful energy. So want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and looking forward to 2026. Back to you, Bernie.
Tony, thank you, and thank you. You're making me go red there. I'm going to start blushing. I'm going to be like the baubles of red all around. So, it's a team effort. So it's just part of the team. That's the scoop, right? And I'm going to share some stuff next Monday at the Canada Growth Network free to attend session. We have Joanne Morehouse who's coming in, and she's going to be talking about like doing a visual headshot. So for your LinkedIn profile, she does it remotely, and just come on in and take a peek and walk around. We're also, if you're a Phoenix member, if you're looking for a CRM to back up, now some people might not because they are in a enterprise situation. Totally fine. We also have Go High Level. So if you're a member of Phoenix, the $39 deal is still available to you. on a continuous ongoing basis. So first month is $1 and then 39 thereafter. And just letting you know that otherwise the current market price is it's starting to go up. All right. And for myself, well, what do I do? I connect businesses and I talk to people about their space and what makes it work for them. So I have a podcast, Knack for Business. That's part of the conversation. Get to know them really well, and sometimes they become guest speakers at East Tradewinds. Sometimes they become guests at the Power Hour. Doing a chat in that space. So there's always room for leverage and growth. And I'm gonna Christmas. What am I gonna do for Christmas? Probably get heavier. Yep, that's it. Heavier. The wife has been cooking Christmas cookies. Well, that's so good, so bad, so good, all at the same time. I think I'm developing a sensitivity to chocolate and getting itchier skin. So, oh no, yeah, the joys of aging. What else? Maybe a road trip to visit family in Southwest Ontario. And family here in the Ottawa area. So we'll probably have a Christmas a Boxing Day poutine session. So it's like, yeah, another weight loss program. No, not at all. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to swing the mic over to Mr. Dash Cam Sam, because you know what? He is the focal point. He is the main entertainment. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you, Bernie. Good morning, everyone. Sam Sturs, ConnectedCars.ca. There's my contact information in the chat. Well, today I decided that maybe I talk about something different for a change. So I'm going to talk about car engines. No, I'm not going to stray too far. But I do want to talk about car engines because today you have quite a variable of options when it comes to buying a car, the motors that drive the car. More than ever before in the world, you can buy things that you never could. When I was a child, I shouldn't child, right? We're a teenager. When I went out and got my first car, the vast majority of cars, gasoline cars, and they had carburetors to run them, and your choices were very slim. Other than that, you might get a diesel truck or something like that, but you didn't get all the things options that you can today. So I'm going to talk about some of the ones that are common, and I'm going to leave a few out, but I'm going to talk about, well, today you can get a motor that's run by electricity, something that was very rare when I was a kid. So you can get an EV today, you can get a hybrid engine, something that was not available when I was young. Hybrid meaning you could have a gasoline and electric driving your vehicle. You can get hybrid that plugs in as well. You can get a gasoline engine, of course, but you can get gasoline engines with all kinds of extra things like turbochargers, superchargers. You can get direct fuel injection, things like that many people maybe don't even think about, but you may need to know when it comes to your engine. Of course, diesel is out there still, maybe not as much as it was even 10 years ago because of the Volkswagen issue that came up, and a lot of people turned away from Volkswagens in this part of the world. But they are out there. But I'm not going to talk about them today. I'm not going to talk about diesels, and I'm not going to talk about superchargers because that's a pretty rare one. I think I have one customer with a supercharged engine, so I'm not going to talk about them today. But I am going to talk about the other ones. First of all, let's start with the EVs. More and more cars in my neighborhood, I don't know about yours, people are driving electric vehicles. And this is a very good way of saving the earth when it comes to gasoline fumes and things like that, carbon monoxide in the atmosphere. But there's some particular things when it comes to EVs that you may not know about, and I'm going to educate you when it comes to the customers that I have that drive these cars. First of all, they are very efficient when it comes to horsepower. You just put on your foot on the I would say gas pedal, but the accelerator, and those things take off very, very quickly. If you haven't driven one, they are very quick. And on the other hand, when you let your foot off the gas or the accelerator, they stop very quickly. So the first thing I noticed was when you let off on the pedal, these things just slow down, And the reason why is because they have something called regenerative braking. That is caused by the electricity. and they actually help the car slow down. And the benefits of this, actually, when it comes to repairs, are brakes. Very few brakes jobs do I ever get when it comes to EVs, because these brakes last, well, I remember Dave's car, he had 132,000 on it, and he still hadn't worn out half the brakes on his front of his car. So that's one big advantage when it comes to EVs, that the braking lasts for a long, long time. On the other hand, EVs are very heavy and they wear out the tires very quickly. So if you have shares in the tire manufacturer, buy an EV. Because you're going to wear out those tires usually around 30 to 40,000 kilometers, and you need a new set of tires. And they're not cheap when it comes to EVs. They're a more expensive tire. Another thing that seems to go wrong with them is that because they're heavy, the suspensions start to wear out fairly quickly. So be prepared for that if you own an EV. Let's see here. I mentioned the brakes, and best way to take advantage of owning an EV is to have what they call a level 2 charger. That means a charger at home, so you don't have to go to the superchargers and pay exorbitant fees when it comes to charging your car up. So make sure that you get a level 2 charger, and of course that's going to cost you around $2,000 to install in your house. So be prepared for that as well. Moving on, I'm going to talk about hybrid. This is a fairly common vehicle today. I know Tony's got a RAV4. Tony, is your RAV4 a hybrid? No. Okay. Well, it's very common, especially Toyotas today with hybrid engines. In fact, I say the hybrid and the Toyotas are probably the best hybrids in the world because they last a long time and they run very well. The advantage, of course, of a hybrid engine is the electricity that gets charged, and you run on electricity when they're charged and when they're charged up, and this saves you on gasoline costs. On the other hand, they're a little more complex, and of course, you do still have to get the oil changed on them regularly, but they are a great option when it comes to purchasing. I don't know in Scotland if this is a common thing, but they are more common all the time in Canada now, hybrid engines. You can get the plug-in ones. Of course, plug-in ones, the advantage of those is that you charge at night. You have these level 2 chargers at home, and it extends the range on them. So getting a plug-in hybrid has that advantage. Of course, you have to pay the cost of the level 2 charger, but the range improves. Now, gasoline. I'm going to talk about gasoline engines. And let's see, I know Jacqueline's car, and I know Eric's car, and they have typical gasoline fuel injection engines like the ones I drive. And these are very common, vast majority of cars out there with fuel injection. But there are some options when it comes to that. And I have several customers with turbocharged engines, and I don't believe either one of your vehicles are turbocharged. Same with you there, Bernie. But one thing that is getting more common is people driving these turbocharged engines like they drive their fuel-injected engines. And that's a big major no-no for me. If you have a turbocharger in your engine, you should not be driving it like you do a regular car, fuel-injected engine. These things take time to warm up. First of all, you shouldn't, our weather when it's minus 20 degrees, you push one of these turbocharged engines hard right away, and you can pretty much guarantee you're going to have oil consumption. And then the other end, when they get hot, these turbochargers get hot, if you don't change your oil regularly and these things, you're sitting in traffic and pushing these things hard, and then you stop, these cook the bearings in these turbochargers, the turbos, and again, you're going to run the seals and you're going to start burning oil. I have one customer, particularly, he has a very nice BMW with a twin turbo, and he's starting to burn oil in that car, and that's exactly why. He drives it hard and puts it away wet, as they say when it comes to horses. He shuts it off when it's hot. So I've advised him, and believe me, when it comes to salesmen, they will not pass this message along to you if you own a turbocharged engine. It's not a positive thing, so don't expect the salesman to tell you to be wary of turbochargers, but that's the reality. And of course, if you have two of them like this guy, even more important. Um, oh yeah, and changing the oil is another very important thing when it comes to if you own a car with a turbocharged engine or a supercharger. Let's see here. Oh, reason why is people want to get better and better gas mileage. And I think, Tony, you had a CRV before. More than likely, that CRV had a 1.5 liter engine, which is a very small engine, and it would have had a turbocharger on it. And that's the reason why you got good gas mileage. But on the other hand, this small engine was working very hard, and the turbocharger's trying to boost the horsepower to maintain this bigger vehicle horsepower. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about something called direct injection. This is a interesting phenomena that's getting more and more popular, more and more engines having this direct injection technology, and that is putting pressure, high pressure injection when it comes to the fuel in the cylinders. So it directs the fuel right into the cylinders at high pressure. Be very wary if you own a car with this technology. More and more problems with these engines if you have the direct injection and you don't have the combination. I think Tony's new RAV4 would have the combination of both. So that's a good thing when it comes to the combination of both. But if you have a direct fuel injection, and I think Bernie, your wife, probably has that in her car, these things require servicing. And the reason why is because the direct injection produces a lot of carbon inside the engine. And this is something that can really cause problems down the road for these cars. So you have to maintain and get these cars serviced more often if they have just the direct injection. So be wary of that. Again, why they came out with it is because trying to get more horsepower and better gas mileage out of these smaller engines. Let's see here. I mentioned the cool down period. I mentioned direct injection. Let's see. Oh, um, many cars, when it comes to problem cars, when it comes to the direct injection, first of all, the first engines that had problems with that were the Hondas that were called what they called the Earth Dream engines. And I think Tony's CRV would have had that in his car. Those ones had what's called fuel dilution. And we know where things are going wrong is when you smell gasoline in the oil, when you're changing the oil. And I'm a guy that changes oil in people's cars. And when it comes to a car, I smell, and if I smell gasoline in the oil, I know that engine's going the way of the dodo bird. So one thing you can do if you have a direct inject engine is ask the person doing the work, or if you're doing the work, take a little whiff. If it smells like oil, no problem. If it smells like gasoline, you just might want to turn it over. Get rid of that car. Um, so let's see, the Earth Dream engine from Honda is susceptible to that, as well as what they call the GDI, and that's the Hyundai and Kia engines. If you have GDI engines in your automobile, that is a direct fuel injected engine, and you may want to really look at servicing that car when it comes to carbon, and again, have that smelling when it comes to the smell of gasoline in the oil when you change the oil. Now, I think I went pretty quick through all this. It's 52 minutes. I'm going to turn it over to questions. You may not have a car with these things, but I'll try and answer whatever questions I can when it comes to motors in your cars.
Air filters. How often do you change the air filters? Same time you do the oil filter, or because if you're a diesel or a turbo, and by the way, Lisa's vehicle is a turbo.
Yeah, if it's turbo and it's a GDI, you got both issues when it comes to.
Oh, Sam, stop. You may as well tell me the tax man's going to come after me next and say, I don't like the color of your car.
Well, one thing I know is your wife is probably a calm driver. If she's pushing her car hard, then you got issues with the turbocharger. If she's not, no problem. Like the vast majority of people will not have a problem with a turbocharger if they're nice to it. And it's these guys, like I mentioned, this guy with a turbocharger, He's got twin ones in his BMW, and he pushes this car hard. So first of all, is the I don't think your wife would have an issue with the turbo in her car. On the other hand, the direct fuel injection, it is a common problem with Hyundai and Kia vehicles, and they build up carbon. Whether you're a nice driver or not a nice driver, it will cause a problem down the road. You need servicing. They actually use what is it, walnuts or something like that. They blast the carbon off the piston heads because of it. Anyway, did I answer your question though, Bernie?
Well, when you mentioned walnuts and blasting off my piston head, so that tells me that everything has to be ripped open, and in which case I may as well find myself a squirrel. I put the nuts in. Yeah, never mind. I'm going to stop there. I'm going
Yeah,
over the edge here.
it's not a cheap endeavor, but it will keep the engine from causing major problems.
So
Unfortunately, these GDI engines are a problem.
I understood carbon does come off though if you run it for good long drives. Like in carbureted cars, back in the day when things were the old way, you may
Yeah,
have seen it in the odd turbo, but you now take the carbon
not
out that
not
way.
not not in today's not in today's no.
Sam,
Though the
wrong happiness, wrong happiness, man.
Sorry, Bernie. I wish I could give you better news, but no.
I do have a
No,
question. When you have a car ahead of you and you smell a sulfur smell coming from it, like when they're running, what's that an indication of?
that's very common, especially this time of year for us in North America, as it's cold weather. That is your catalytic converter. It's either cold, first of all, and if it's not running efficiently, you're going to smell that rotten egg smell is basically what I call it. And it's common when cold weather when it's first started. If you smell it when it's warm, there's issues. And
Yeah.
it more than likely is the catalytic converter giving up, or the O2 sensors. There's oxygen sensors ahead and below, and before and after the catalytic converter, and one of them or both of them are having issues.
Kat has a question in the chat. How does she clear diesel particulate filter? How do I clear diesel particulate filter in DDI car?
You're
That's a
talking about a
great
diesel vehicle,
question.
right?
Just wish I
So
understood
you
it.
don't go to the fuel line and start blowing it out, right?
No. Well, there is an additive. I think we're talking diesel here, right?
Yes.
There's an additive called DEF, that's supposed to help with that. Again, I'm not really big on big. I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to diesel engines, but I think that's the additive that's being used to help with that. Um, Also, I get it serviced if you're having issues when it comes to diesels. Um, Diesel fuel, if you don't know, diesel fuel is a little less refined when it comes to than gasoline, and the buildup can be fairly quick on those. But I know that the DEF is DEF is used to help with that.
Okay. I knew a friend of mine that his wife would get into a supercharged car in the morning and it's minus 30, start the car and drive off. Just go and I says, is the car still running? He says, yeah, it's still running for as long as it can, but yeah, I guess you have to let it warm up a little bit at 30 minus 30. That's
Yeah,
Celsius, by the way. It's
yeah,
that's
especially where we live. Unfortunately, where we live, we have a northern climate and cold winters. That it's really asking for trouble. Temperatures into the minus tens and below. Supercharged or turbocharged engines, if you push them hard when they're cold, pretty much guarantee the seals are going to go, and you're going to have oil consumption, and you're going to need thousands of dollars in repairs. That goes with turbos and the supercharged engines. Not good. Somebody's going to ask me, I'm sure they're going to ask me, is it good to warm up your engine this time of year? And the answer is yes, but not for a long time. Start your car, give it, maybe 30 seconds to a minute of warm up time, then drive casually. Don't push them hard, especially turbochargers I mentioned. Let the car look, hopefully you've got a temperature gauge. It'll come up to the warm area. Then you can drive them harder. No problem. But be aware that especially and I know I change oil sometimes when the cars are at minus 20 degrees. Oil at that temperature is like molasses. It's thick and it's sticky. So your engine when it's cold, it's hardly getting lubricated at all. So don't be pushing it hard. It's just common sense, right? Let the thing warm up for 4 or 5 minutes, and then drive the car. It's just we live in a cold climate, and we have to look at that kind of thing. Summertime, not an issue, but this time of year, January, February, especially, your engines, especially if you park outside, guarantee that engine's sitting at minus 22 degrees, and that oil literally. If you take honey, and you pour honey out your house at room temperature, it's thick. Well, double that. Your engine oil is thicker. It won't even practically move. It's like jelly. So be aware of that. Don't abuse your engine driving it hard when it's cold. It's just asking for trouble.
So, Sam, are you also saying then to plug your car in? The car heater blocks are block heaters.
If you leave your car outside, I'm going to say this: if your car is outside and it's minus 22 degrees, I highly recommend that you get a block heater, or if you have one, plug it in, because you're going to be helping not only your oil and your engine, but you're also your battery. The battery in the car is going to take a beating at those temperatures, and you'll be lucky if it starts when it's cold, but it's going to benefit for sure. Yes. You live out in Alberta, we probably all know. Um, a lot of people plug in their cars in Saskatchewan and Alberta because their wind chills are extremely cold, and it's a common practice in the Edmonton area, Alberta, Saskatchewan, to plug
Winnipeg.
in your car. Sorry, Bernie or Tony?
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg
Winnipeg
too.
is
Yes.
cold. They say that.
Yes. Us, again, not normally like right now. What is it? Last night it was minus 13 or something like that. Not a big deal. But when you get into the minus 22 degrees, your battery is taking a beating. And again, that oil is thick. It just is. And it's tough on the engines. And of course, oil is there for a purpose, and that is to lubricate the engine to keep the metal from, hitting metal, playing right on and it's going to wear down the metal surfaces, pistons, and you're going to have problems. It happens. But just be nice to your car. Park it inside if you can for your engine, knowing that, of course, rust is the enemy of that process. But it's better to your engine if you can park it inside overnight when it's minus 22 degrees. It's better for the battery and better for the oil.
Sam, thank you so much. Are there any other questions before we go to the closing quote?
My father-in-law was the controller of a multinational battery company, and he used to say that lifetime warranty in Canada means 2.5 to 5 years.
Yeah, I had somebody call me up the other day because their car wouldn't start, and I said, "Well, how old's the battery?" And they said, "Well, I don't think it's more than 15 years old."
Wow.
I said
Wow.
no. I said no. In our part of the world, if a car battery lasts more than 5 years, you're
Yeah.
lucky. It just doesn't. No way that person had a 15-year-old battery.
As long
No
as
way.
it's not your Tesla, right? Your EV
Yeah, well,
car.
that's different. But believe it, but maybe, well, I'm extending this, but for those who are looking at EVs, you were talking about the batteries that run the car. That's one thing, but Teslas also have a battery in the car, that 12-volt battery, and those things do go. So be aware that there's not just the batteries that run the engine. There's also a battery that gets you into and out of the car, and those things do go in 5, 6 years. It's it's not nice when they do go because you can't get into your car.
Well, you can, but just it's a lot
Oh,
of crap.
right. Oh, I I,
Yes.
I thought that was part of the main battery that
Nope.
really.
They also have a 12-volt battery right in the what they call frunk, right in the front of the car. and they do go. And when they do, you can't even get into your car, and you have to
Wow.
find. Well, there's a way to get in, and it requires accessing this little port and using a spare 12-volt source to activate the front to get in. Yep, the advantages and disadvantages of an EV.
Yeah.
Okay, quote for the day: "The true entrepreneur knows he'll or she'll keep trying forever."